close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them. To see the horizon turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And
sleep till I come home, dream of something sweet. I will be there soon to wake you so discreet.
2, 3.
Get some booms in the chat, everybody, and welcome to this very special stream. Welcome in here, everyone. You can see who you have here on the screen with me. It's Mr. RGTV. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. So we were just talking earlier. We have been talking about this for like a long time now, that we wanted to try to do this live, you know, instead of doing it as a video. We wanted to do it live, so you guys have a chance to ask questions if you would like. And I'm going to be very clear with the format that we're going to do. We are not going to waste that much time in talking about other stuff, so we're going to start by going over hole number 1, and then after hole number 1 we're going to take questions if someone has any questions. If not, then we're going to go to hole number 2 and so on. Asaya, thank you so much for the $1. Give Asaya some boom and some love in the chat. Awesome. So you know, we enjoy this, me and RJ, so much together, and we're gonna do our very best. If it's not working, we're just going to shut down, and then we're going to do it outside the stream. So be patient with us. And before we start, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, be a sub. Also join over to It's RJ TV, hit that subscribe button, be a sub there as well. So, okay, we have the Community Cup RJ, what's your thought about the Community Cup here?
I have mixed feelings. I am super happy there's a tournament, and I think we need to honor what the majority picked, but I'm expecting minus 92s. If you can't get a minus 92, I don't think you're going to get a gold.
Oh my god, yeah, I think we got, not maybe in the minus 92, but like minus 30s at least it's going to take to win a gold. It would be good if we would be seeing a bunch of headwind, but we'll see what happens. So RJ is going to cover everything when it comes to rookie. I'm going to take Pro Expert and Master when it comes to second and 30. And once again, after hole number 1, we are going to ask for questions, and once we have gone to hole number 2, we're not going to talk about hole number 1 anymore. So, okay, I'm going to stop rambling here. So, hole number 1, par 4, Meadow Castle makes an entrance. RJ, how do we play hole number 1 from front tee?
Okay, well, from the front tee, I got 2 ways for you guys to play this. I feel like this is a must eagle hole if you want a medal. So you can go conservative, which would be a quarterback, 0 elevation on the drive. Nice way to start off the tournament. I would go full topspin with the quarterback, regardless of whether you're level 1 or level 10 with that quarterback. We got a nice wide fairway there. Just aim right around where that black box is that Tommy has up on his screen, and make sure that you have a direct path to where you don't have to go around that rough or the sand for your second shot. If you have a sniper, I don't care if it's a sniper level 1, you don't really need too much spin for your second shot because you could just back it up a little bit. We're using a Marlin ball or a power 0 ball. Heck, you could use a basic ball here, but I like to knock down the wind because we want to get that eagle. You're going to be looking at a short iron shot, so bring something accurate, for your short iron so you can just hit it right in. Or you can bust out your extra mile, and if you have a power 3 ball, you shouldn't have to overpower it. You can use your power 3 from the first tee with your extra mile, put some top spin on there. Make sure you don't go sailing past the hole. I think you'll be safe though with your lower level extra mile 5, so on and so forth, to be able to get on or near the green for a really easy chip. That'll be the higher percentage shot, but you got to burn a power 3 ball. So you weigh, what you think there.
Yes, and from second and from 30, it's going to kind of be the same type of thing, It's a straightforward hole, nothing that really happens here. And the only thing that we need to figure out is, look at the distance between the first tee box and the second one, then a little bit more from the third one. I don't know, it seems like it's going to be kind of at least like a 50 to 100 yards in between there, basically, I don't know, so it's going to be super interesting, but it's going to be kind of the same thing here. Tailwind, we can go for the green, otherwise we're just going to lay up and take an easy approach there towards the pin. I don't have that much to say though, because it's so much straightforward. I would say from the second and from the 30, then we are going to play with some type of power ball, but we can definitely play with a power 0 ball if we do want to save. I do think with Tailwind we're going to see a hole in 1 here in the tournament, honestly. So, hole number 2, par 3, also extremely just straightforward. So I'm super interested. How do we play this one from first tee?
Very, very easy from the first tee. Rookies, simply get out your Apocalypse 6 or higher and bring yourself a Berserker ball. Actually, a backbone, something you get and unlock in Tour 2, I believe, and a power 0 ball. I have Marlin, but if you want to use a special wind ball, that's even better. The less wind you have to adjust for, the higher the chances for your hole in 1. You want to make sure that your backbone or whatever club you're using that's a long iron has at least 3 or more backspin. If you do have 3 backspin, you want to land right about where the fringe is, just behind where Tommy has his black box there. Obviously, if you have more, if you're using a Saturn or something like that, then you want to use full backspin. You're going to need to push it up just a little bit more. But that's pretty straightforward. That's what I got for 10% if I haven't said it.
Yeah, and that's the same second tee, third tee, like Pro Expert and Master will play 10% downhill. And the only thing that is going to be a difference here is that at least, like, you know, it's new tee boxes. No one has ever played these holes from second and third tee, but I do feel we're going to play with a long iron, more as in a max distance of our club when it comes to second tee. And I would say backspin there is kind of important. Saturn, I would say, or a maxed out Goliath, so we do have at least like a 4 or 5 bars of backspin. When we play from 30, we're going to play with a wood club, and I think it's going to be taking a maxed out sniper, or we're going to have a guardian there with the backspin. You know, you can play with basically whatever ball. It's only important though that you, once again, when it is pretty easy hole, pretty straightforward, use the ones that you have the most on and save the rest there, so you're focusing on that part as well. So that was hole number 2. I forgot to ask if there was any question about hole number 1, but you know, I guess that was just so super straightforward. So I'm going to take, the press dog says, are you gonna do this for expert? This is for expert included, so it's included for rookie, pro, expert, and master. And as I said, RJ is talking about what happened from the front tee, which is rookie division. I'm talking about what happened from second tee, which is pro, expert, and then third tee, that is a master. So once again, if you have any questions, we're going to take it hole by hole. So so we are then gonna go over to hole number 3. Hole number 3, par 5, almost 500 yards, and there is a little rumor to say that RJ really likes this one. I don't know, really.
Yes, I did vote for this hole, and I'm very happy to see it up there. I love holes where you could just rear back and smack it with a bunch of topspin and you know, cover a lot of distance. So we're looking at a 10%. I'm not sure if it's elevation or just the fact that we're going over water, but 10% either way. Bring yourself a big topper if you have it. A big topper is definitely going to get you much closer to the hole than an extra mile. However, when I used to play this back in on Tour 3 from the first tee, I don't even know if it's still on Tour 3. But anyway, when I used to play it, an extra mile can also get you over with a tailwind. If you have any other wind, you're going to want to put some backspin and stop at the island. If you do stop at the island, it's a 40% adjustment downhill to the tee. So keep that in mind. 40% is the biggest number that's ever come out of my mouth and that I've ever seen on Tommy's text guides. However, if you're jumping over, then that's a different story. So big topper is playing the right side. I would go with a Titan. And I would go full top spin, about 2 right spin, max over power. This should get your ball right about where you see his black box. With the black box being so close, bring the Hornet. You want all that accuracy because we could cover, what did you say, Tommy? 488 yards?
Yeah.
You can get an albatross.
Can definitely be an albatross here, and you know, it's going to be so wind dependent. Every time we have this one in the tournament, it has been a smashing tailwind from every tee, and that has been making it possible for people to go directly for the green and actually having a few that has been making a condor, like a hole-in-one on a par 5. I've seen a couple. I've never done it myself. I wish I could someday, but we'll see. But in the end, we have second tee. Like most likely, like we say like this: if we do have tailwind, we're gonna bounce on the island, and we're gonna bounce as far as we possible can on the fairway there. And here it could be good to play with a Thor's hammer, honestly, if you're not having a more level up Apocalypse due to the more topspin with the Thor's hammer than a lower level Apocalypse. For an example, also higher than like an X-Mile level 7. But if we do have crosswind or headwind, we're gonna lay up and we're going to go for the island and just land the ball there. And just going to use the backspin that we have, land it there, and then go for the green for the second shot. If we would be having a headwind from the third tee, and that is going to be the white line that we're going to play with then. The reason I say that is because there is no chance whatsoever, absolutely ever, to reach for the island in the middle if we would be playing with headwind from the third tee. So, okay, I see a question here. How can it be 40% and 10% to land on the same island? No, Gabriel, I think that RJ wants to say is that if you drive to the island, it's still going to be 10%. But once you play from the island to the green, then it's 40%. So it's downhill 40% from the island to the green, not from tee to the green. So just to make that clear. And yes.
Okay, I also wanted to mention one other thing since she brought that up. If you have a wind that's not necessarily favorable, or you got to use an extra mile and you need to stay on the island, but you don't have that much backspin, one thing I used to do is try to hit like a rough bump where the island begins. It's a little bit risky, but it'll stop you from rolling into the rough up top and possibly off the mountain. But yes, Tommy, you are 100% right on answering Gabrielle's question. If you are going to the island, it's 10%. If you're landing on the island and then you're trying to get a hole-in-one from the island, it's a 40% shot.
Yes, and we have another question. Tommy and RJ, it seemed when I watched your expert playthrough, I think it's talking more to me here, you tend to use mostly extra mile versus Apoc 5 or higher. Is this only because you feel most people don't have Apocalypse 5 or higher? Would you ever use extra mile over Apoc 5? I would say, Skip, let's say you have an extra mile level 7 or level 8 and you have an Apocalypse level 5 in tour play, I would be using the Apocalypse level 5 all day and every day. But you're right with the thing that when I play in Expert and also in Pro and in Rookie, I do that in teaching purposes. I want to win. I always want to win when I play, but it's most likely for most of the time for teaching purposes. Then there is more players playing with an extra mile than a higher level Apocalypse. So to be able to describe and help people out that even have an extra mile level 7, level 6, level 5, I think it's easier to play sometimes with an extra mile level 8 and maybe don't use max top spin, maybe use the lower part of the attributes to be able to replicate those type of clubs instead, as the majority of the people is having that. I think it's super important as a content creator to try to use as similar clubs like the audience is using. There's no point in using Apocalypse level 6 and go for a hook shot towards the green with a power 5 ball where there is a small percentage of players that has that club or set up, for an example. So I hope that answered the question there. And also Captain Cody Carruthers, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Okay, so we have hole number 3 here, and we're gonna go to hole number 4. And before we go to hole number 4, I would say exclamation mark tournament in the chat. You will get a link to the text guides for the community cup. So let's say hole number 4, par 3, the cliff shootout as it's called. Should we be able to stay away from the water here? Maybe.
Yeah, we should definitely be able to. I have a lot of experience with this hole. I've hit hole-in-ones with this hole, and I felt like I deserved the hole-in-one. And then other times, I've hit it, and I thought I moved it far enough to the left with a right wind, and I end up being way far right or way far left. So we spoke a little before. You think you know why that happens, but for us rookies right off the bat, one thing that Tommy did teach me, and I'm going to share it with you guys in part of rookie. First of all, 10%, which I thought it would be like 35%, but only 10%, and bring a Goliath, because it's much better to use a long iron than it is a wood club. And with a Goliath and a power 0 ball, be it a Marlin, be it a Santa ball, whatever you want to use, I would go with about 2 backspin. Obviously, unless we have wind in our face or wind at our back, then you might need to adjust it by 1 spin. But Tommy, man, I would love to hear why am I landing so far in different directions sometimes, and other times I'm getting it right in the hole.
Yeah, and I think, like, I've been playing this one so much, and I just a quick side note, do you remember, Ardy, that I actually kicked your butt on this one in the video with for Playdemic with the golden shot? I just wanted to have it said, so everyone, yeah, okay, so when we play this one, it's 10% downhill. This one used to be 20%. Since they did an update in September, that big update, this has been 10% after that. And a big reason why many players are going to be a little bit more to the left or a little bit more to the right are basically two things. There is first and foremost a hump there at the point where the black box is, like straight at the pin, because game makers of course notice that people are going straight at the pin because that's the easiest way to do. So there is a flat spot there, but that one is very tiny. So if we're just a little bit off, we're going to hit the kind of the side of it and therefore bounce either more to the left or more to the right. Second is that the pin is standing on a mound, a tiny one, so if we're just missing the hole on the right a little bit too much or the left a little bit too much, then it's going to roll more to the side than it was before. Before we could go straight up to the green and it could fall back down and had a very nice one and be very close to the green there. That's at least my understanding and my analyze of this hole. So the thing that I would like us to do though is that if we feel that we can't get the correct bounce here, move your landing position a little bit more to the left or a little bit more to the right and use side spin when you play instead. So you take yourself away from the more inconsistent area. From second tee, use a ball with as much wind resistance as possible. The reason I say that is that this one is a tough one and there will be players going into the water or whatever, we can at least out of bounds. Because this is a super tough par 3. Once we play on the second tee, we play with a wood club every time, and from third tee we're going to play with a driver every time, and then the sniper from second tee, quarterback from the third tee. So yes.
Okay. You had mentioned earlier, do you think a lot of people are going to go into the water? And yeah. It didn't even like dawn on me. But because I remember playing this back in Tour 3, when I first had it, yes, I did go into the water a lot. And that's why it's so important when I said 2 backspin, because the back side of that green is sloped down towards the pin. So you're much better off needing to go a little bit past the hole and then coming back down, as opposed to putting too much backspin on, especially if there's a wind at our face and you end up hitting the rough and then the ball rolls backwards down the cliff into the water.
Thank you for adding that, really, because that was something that is very important. It's always when we do play, we're always going to put ourselves in the risk and reward factor. It's like if we do find ourselves taking a bigger risk, then of course like we need to have a bigger reward for it. So we decide, of course, for where the skill that we're having. Let's say we feel very super confident with this hole, which there is many players that is, but there is also many players that is not. So if you feel confident, you go straight at the pin, you go a more aggressive line. Otherwise, absolutely, as I just say, you take more room. Second tee, I would say it's all from 3 to 5 bars of backspin depending on the wind, and it's going to be from third tee, it's going to be most likely max backspin with our driver in every single time depending on the wind, of course. So we're gonna say here we do have Anna. First and foremost, just so you know, I love that you're using the commands and with big letters for love, but the exclamation mark rookie, pro and expert are for the winter major, so those are not accurate. They will be changed Monday and Tuesday now for the tournament. Hey Tommy and RJ from Imran, is it 10% from first tee and 20% from second? No, it's 10% from every tee, not just from one there. Do we have anything more? Why not sniper for rookie? Sure, Grammy P, you can play with sniper for rookie, but you will have to play in that case with like a like a basic ball or with a Marlin ball, but you will also have to kind of have headwind or crosswind in some form to be able to not be in between clubs. But we think, like as RJ explained, we do want to play with the Goliath, so we do have distance, so we can play with the Goliath with basically any type of wind, and don't feel, because we're most likely going to have tailwind, which we do have in rookie in basically every type of shot. Hey Terry. Yeah, sorry, what did you say, RJ? Sorry.
I was just going to chime in on that question as well. I mean, you basically said it. I'm going to repeat what you said because I think it's so important. with a sniper, especially if you don't bring the Goliath where it switches from one club to the other, if you have the wrong wind and you need to adjust backwards, and let's say you don't have the let's say you have the sniper in or something, you're going to have a big red line like this, and you're going to be in between clubs. So it's better, in my opinion, just to bring the Goliath, because then you have room to adjust forward and backward, as to where if you use a sniper, you're going to be at minimum distance and you won't be able to pull it back to adjust for the wind anymore. Plus, most rookies are going to have very low-level snipers, but, I mean, you probably have 2 backspin on it. So, yeah, basically it's just a minimum distance thing.
Yes. Daffy Duck 622, thank you so much for resubbing with Twitch Prime 4 months in a row. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon to you as well, sir. So, we are gonna go and jump over to hole number 5, another short par 4, where it's once again time to go for green, right? Or, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. This is another hole I voted for. I love jumping islands. I don't know what it is. You know, maybe I need to go on a trip to Hawaii where they jump islands. I don't know. But anyway, I like the white line here. So for a hole number 5, we go with an extra mile, a Titan, a 10% adjustment, and about 3 to 5 backspin. Why 3 to 5 backspin? Well, believe it or not, especially with certain tailwinds, I've gone with full backspin, and I went right past that flag, right past the rough, right into the drink. And you definitely don't want to do that here, because this is a possible hole-in-one type shot. But personally, I like to play a little bit more conservative, because if you roll just a little too far, the ball rolls really fast on the putting surface. So I would much rather stop near the fringe and have an easy chip than have either one of these two scenarios happen. And that is trickle down for a super long putt where you've got the freaking needle jumping around up and down, and it's nearly impossible to make it. Or like I said, you know, you could do a fringe glitch, or you could just have too much topspin and go all the way into the water. So very straightforward, 3 to 5 topspin. You're probably going to, if you go 3, you're going to catch that rough. It's going to slow you down. But if you bring some accurate clubs like a wedge with a lot of topspin, or I don't even know if a short iron would be needed, but that's how I would play hole number 5.
Yeah, no, there is no need for any short iron. If we reach over, there's going to be a wedge all day and every day. And just to add that, I know there some people maybe noticed that RJ said it was backspin in the beginning, but he said topspin in the end, and it's topspin. That is not 3 to 5 backspin. So no. that would be going super short.
Thank you for correcting me.
Then no problem, buddy. We from the second tee are going to see, you know, with what wind are we going to have, you know? Tailwind, crosswind from second tee. We are going to play on the island, try to go for the green. That's what the majority is going to do. So we're going to be definitely in a disadvantage if we do try to go on the right side and ship it in from distance. And I would say around 3 to 5 bars of topspin there as well. And it is a very tough one to dial in to get close to the green, because close to the pin, because it's either going to be a wedge or it's going to be a long putt. I super hate go and have a long putt where you have to max overpower, or you will not be able to reach in any form. In headwind though, we will not be able to play on the island from the second tee. We're going to play right side, and there we also add the 10% for the downhill approach, but also the second shot we add the 10% for the downhill approach there as well. Third tee, we do need some sort of tailwind. It could be crosswind / tailwind, but if we do have a straight crosswind, I will not go for the island. It's very unlikely that I'm going to go for the island even with the crosswind / tailwind, because, you know, it's going to be super close if I'm going to drop in the rough or drop into the water and stuff when having to overpower. So then we're going to have to play on the right side there. So, but you know, when we have so many short holes here, I so much hope that we're going to play this one in headwind, honestly. So we can maybe ship it in from distance from the right. That would be awesome. But definitely a chance for an hole-in-one, but mostly an eagle. So if we do have tailwind, this is going to be a must eagle. But with some sort of a headwind situation, it's not going to be a must eagle. Then it's going to be an eagle to very much earn. So there we go. I'm going to see if we do have any question here. Does anyone here know about the next Golf Clash sale date? No, unfortunately, that's only Golf Clash that knows that. I wish there could maybe be some Win 5 balls to sale soon. That would be awesome. Wolfgang, thank you so much for the good luck to both of us. Mike Power says, Tommy, what's the name of the website that shows the ring number? You can find that on golfclashnotebook.io. So that will come that. And then we have Bailey. When are you going to list the Pro and Expert video guides? It will come on Monday, Bailey. The reason it's not coming yet is because there isn't any chance whatsoever to play any of the holes from second tee in the game. You can only get them from front tee, which is tour 1, 2, 3, and 6. So there isn't a possibility for me to play it from second tee. So then I have to wait. Then I have to wait until the tournament starts. But there will be a whole guide for every division, like for Pro and Expert. But it will also be a playthrough, of course, for all the divisions when the tournament starts. So, hole 6. Oh my God, we played this one we played this one recently, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was going to sing for it. Hello, hello, hole 6, my old friend. You know that song, Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend. Now that I had to explain it, it's not funny. But yeah, this hole again. I don't really like this hole, and that's because I haven't gotten it dialed in. And I know every time a shot is taken, a hole-in-one is definitely a possibility. And if it's not me getting the hole-in-one, it's, of course, my opponent, and they're going to go up on the scorecard of me. But for the best chance to get a hole-in-one, you need to play at 10% downhill. You need to bring a backbone if you're a rookie, and go about 2 backspin. A marlin is fine. A power 0 ball, in other words, when I say the word marlin. Obviously, go for a wind 5 ball on all par 3s, because that's going to give you the best chance for the hole-in-one. But a lot of rookies don't have those, so that's why I'm saying marlin. Anyway, I back my shot up a little bit from where Tommy has his black square. I like to land pretty much right in the middle where the sand is, just behind where his black square is, and let it fall down to the pin. The only time I will put some left spin on is if we do have a side wind going from left to right. But very basic hole. We've went over this, I feel, more than once. I feel like we've had this hole like twice in the past month.
It seems so simple, right, that we have been going over this one too much, almost.
Yeah.
There isn't that much to say from second and 30 either. It's like we're going to play with a wood club on from second tee, and we're going to play with a wood club from third tee. So it kind of depends on what wind we're going to have, but we can either go directly at the pin or use the slope that comes right to left for it to fall down there and go from that direction. I would say, the only thing to really focus on is downhill 10% that we need to use. And that is, in my opinion, that is super important, and that's basically the only tricky part here. You can see it suggested a Kingmaker from the second tee, and it also suggested Kingmaker and Win 5 ball from the third tee. You can play with a power 0 ball if you want to, but of course when we do get to deal with higher type of wind, it's going to be easier with a more wind ball to get there. So okay, we're gonna see here. Hey guys, because these are simple holes, do you think it would be a good time to go up a rank and try expert, or should I wait until I place higher in pro before moving up? Both yes and no, it's up to you. I would say it's not something that I would like to tell you to do. Of course, if you have the club, you have the money, and you feel that you can compete, then you're definitely not money in terms of like dollars, but like coins in game. Then I think you should. I don't know if you agree with me, RJ, or what do you feel about that?
Thank you for letting me chime in on this one, because I definitely wanted to say, while you're going to be killing it, and you got to remember everyone else is going to be killing it. So that's why I agree with Tommy that, it's not up to us to say when to go up or down. However, if you got gold medals, or even if you got a more than one top 10 finish in whatever league you're in, and you just feel like you're always coming in the top, let's say you're playing rookie, you're getting 2 or 3 chests. Even if you get the gold medal, it's a 2 or 3 chest. So wouldn't you rather have a 2 or 6 chest? If you feel you have the skill, even to come in 65th place on the weekend, it's worth it, just because not only do you get that chest at the end when you open up your chest, where you get the banner, but also while you're playing, you're getting 2 or 6 chests. Or if you're in pro and you want to make the jump to expert, go for it. If you have the confidence, don't let it be this particular course that makes you go there, because when it's really easy, a lot of people are going to go up a little bit, and you're still going to be mixed with the same type of crowd.
That we do have. I've noticed that hole 4 in the tournament does not require the extra 10% in regular tour play. Have you encountered this? I would say I've been playing that hole, I would say since the update, close to 50 times. And I always play it with 10%, and I always do record my shots, and I study where I aim for the ball to land and where the ball lands, and it's always correct with 10%. So that's why I say it's 10%. So I would have to disagree with you, but if it works for you, then continue to play with it. But in my book, that hole is going to be 10% all day and every day. So we go to hole number 7, RJ. Would you have... oh my god, it's just hilarious to watch hole number 7, honestly. It's like we have so many obstacles on the sides.
Yeah, and look how skinny that fairway is. Why put those 3 sand traps in, Playdemic? I mean, you're just trying to kill us here. Hole 7, actually, I would go with, there's a 0% adjustment, so there's that, because you guys chose by vote to go with hole 1. Tour 1. But anyway, extra mile, Titan, yes, Titan, power 3. And adjust your top spin based on the level of the extra mile you have. Obviously, an extra mile 1 is going to go less far than an extra mile 6 if you have an extra mile 6 and you're still playing in rookie. So I don't want to give a number for top spin there, because you can reach the green pretty much on your drive. And that's why I'm going with a power 3 ball and not like a power 4 or 5 ball, because it's not really necessary. Now, of course, this is assuming a neutral or a tailwind. With the wind in our face, things might change a little bit. But yeah, it makes so much sense to, just go with that top spin. And then if there is a second shot, if you don't get on the green and you need to chip it in, just know that there is a 5% elevation there.
Yes, and we are going to, like, from second and third tee, tailwind, we might going to be able to reach for the green. Now we need to, of course, reserve ourselves that we don't know if Playdemic is going to add any obstacles for the Meadow Castle once the tournament has started. Sometimes they do that, and honestly, I hope, but I don't know, because it's going to be the first time they are going to be available from the second and from the third tee. So we'll see, but I would say, like, what can we say, really, honestly, straightforward. Then we do have a sniper. I'll pick the sniper, gives you the best option, 5% downhill for the approach towards the pin there. So I'm going to focus more on the questions here in the chat, not that many though, but we have one. Tommy and RJ, what new ball type would you like to see with these holes? Like, new ball types. I guess the Jamaica is asking for, like, some type of new ball offer and stuff. Like, do you know what you would like to see, RJ?
I'm a little conflicted with the question, so I'm going to give 2 quick answers. Number 1, I have plenty of berserkers because of the golden shot, which I love, and you hear me talk about all the time. So I just used my last Santa ball on the last tournament. So I would love to see a Wind 5 side spin 5 ball. I believe that it would also make sense for the tournament to have 0 extra power on that ball. However, if we're talking brand spanking new ball, I would really like to see a side spin 4 or 5 ball. And you guys may be saying, what the heck is a side spin 4 or 5 ball? How would that work? Well, when I first started playing this game, way back when, before I had the gray hair, you used to be able to put full top spin on and full side spin for a side spin 3 ball. Now they make you kind of pick, like you're not able to get both full. I think that would be a cool ball to have. So I hope I answered your question with one of the two.
Yes, Dave Nagams, thank you so much for the 14 bucks, buddy. Give Dave some boom. It's a love in the chat. Awesome, we have the boom. Come on, behind you as well, Ari. It seems like you're farting when you see that. That's kind of
I am. I'm so excited.
Where can I look at the guide? Grammy P, I'm going to make the command for you. I know you're on Twitch, so it's !tournament. You will see the link to the text guide for the community cup, so get in there. You can get your share. If you do want to get updated text guides, you can get them through patreon.com/golf-tommy. So okay, then we do have hole number 8. Hole number 8 here, you know, I would have to say hole number 8 and hole 9 is not like super easy. It's, we need to push, like, especially I'm going to leave it to you, RJ. How do we play hole 8?
No, I agree that it's not super easy, because I believe that this needs to play aggressively and it needs to be executed. So by saying that, let me go into my detail. First of all, obligatory 10%, but extra mile, kingmaker, full top spin, full left spin, maximum overpower, and maximum left curl. We're throwing all these maximums into an area right next to the rough and right next to sand. So actually, this is kind of a tough hole. It's a technical hole. You need to be able to at least hit it great with your extra mile to get over. Now, the full curl and the full left spin is so you avoid that sand trap up there and you have a really good shot at an eagle. I think this is actually a must eagle shot, depending on the wind. Now, if they give us a really high wind where we're not able to get over somehow, I don't know. But, you know, and we need to lay up, well, then you go to the right side, you know, with the white line, and then it's obviously a lot harder. That sand trap's kind of in your way, you know, for your second shot and everything. But, man, if we get a neutral wind or we get a headwind or anything, see, and that's the thing, too, even with a headwind, maybe we can't go maximum overpower, because, you know, maybe it'll push us into the water. So I don't know. I mean, there's so many variables with the sand and the tree there, though. Going max overpower, max curl, you got to hit it perfect or very close to perfect. So I like this hole.
You guys rock. James, thank you so much for the $5. Give fun and James some boom and some love in chat. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Okay, so second tee, third tee, I'm going to kind of build on what RJ started to talk about. You know, I would say a general rule for second and third tee is, in headwind we play white line. We lay up right and then we approach the pin with a long iron for the second shot. That's a very easy approach, but it's hard to get it to drop, as the green is very strange in terms of how the ball is going to react when it bounces there. But if we do have tailwind, we need to go for it. It is suggested, or at least I would say I strongly advise you to play with a club that gives you the option to have one ball of curl outside the adjustment range to the left. I think that would be like a 55-60 in terms of curl stat. If you can, you know, that's the ultimate, because then we can, even with some slight tailwind and crosswind to the right, be able to get a good push towards the green there. But nonetheless, tailwind, we're going to go for it. Crosswind, I might going to consider it with a power fireball from a second tee. I'm saying might because it depends so much. So I'm going to leave that one pretty much open. If we're going to reach over, we do need 5 to 6 bars of topspin to land on the green or to roll to the green. Like from 30, you know, I would say go with as much as you possibly can. It's going to be a tough one. We're going to see some people taking the wrong decision here and go into the water. When we play 10% downhill for the first shot, if we do play the second shot, like according to the white line, I'm not going to play that one uphill or downhill in any form. So we are going to see here There we go. Is an Apocalypse 3 good enough for Tour 11? No, I wouldn't say that, unfortunately. It's like, I would consider, oh, you see Thor's Hammer level 3 as well. I would stretch, to Thor's Hammer level 4 maybe. But I honestly think almost that Thor's Hammer 3 is better than Apocalypse level 3 there. It's tough setup though for you to play on Tour 11. With what wind would you go for the hop over the water? With what wind wouldn't you? What can we say, RJ? I think to just draw a line, tailwind we go, headwind we don't.
Yes, and I would also say if we have a neutral, wind blowing left to right or right to left, I would venture to say, me personally, I want to get over, because it's the people that are going to do the risk reward and actually nail the reward instead of the risk that are going to meddle. I feel you have to get over.
Yeah.
So same thing, even if we have a wind that is slightly, in your face, please correct me if I'm wrong. You would know better than me. But even if we have just slightly a tailwind, I wouldn't be opposed to upping the ball maybe to a power 4 or something with some wind resistance as well, just to get over, so you have that easier opportunity for the eagle.
I agree. We do have those options as well. Let's see what we do get as a win in the tournament, and then we're going to be able to see, there is power 5 balls that is not berserkers, like the gridiron ball and stuff, that is possible to use as well. Is it possible to roll through the green into the water deep or the rough behind the hole? There isn't that much rough to play. I would say that it's pretty much uphill there behind the green, so even if you come in pretty hot, I have never been rolling into the water there. I would not say it's impossible to get into the water, but I would say it would be very hard to. Also, we should... sorry,
yeah,
what?
Go ahead. No. I was just going to say, it's about as common as a hole-in-one to go into the water off your drive.
Yeah, that is the good way to say it. We should also mention that the green is unputtable if you just reach the front. That's good. Gabriel, appreciate that that comment. It's hasn't happened for me that often. I don't know about you, RJ, but it's good to have that as well for people to have that in mind.
Right. Yeah. Jump over. That's the main thing that I could say. Even if you don't want to do the max over power, meaning that you're not going to get up by the putting area. Still, if you jump over and land on the other side of the cliff there, and let's say you have a short iron opportunity, that's much better than going with the white line with any type of neutral or tailwind. Just make sure you jump over. And again, because it is, you could, if you guys are playing the golden shot and you don't want to max overpower it, throw a berserker in. Because then you don't have to overpower it all, because it's going just as far. Sure, you're using a berserker, but you're going to have, your odds are going to go up because you don't have the needle going really fast. So I'm not saying you need that, but if you're not, like, let's say you have an extra mile 5. I don't know what the accuracy is on that, but it's not very good. So if I have an extra mile 5, I'm probably throwing a berserker in there, and I could still have the opportunity to either get a really small chip in with the wedge, or, get onto the putting surface, hopefully not too far away. But anytime you can get on green or, into wedge territory from a drive, you're in good shape.
Yeah, and, we can maybe summarize it with that it's going to be a lot, not just for hole 8, it's going to be, we can summarize it off the hole 9 instead, actually. I do have some things that I would like to add in general. So, hole number 9, so we do have a par 5 we end up with, and I would say together with hole number 3, I would say that this is the tougher hole, like 2 of the tougher ones, but even though it's not tough. So, how do we play hole number 9?
Yeah, I feel like this is my hole, and when I say my hole, I mean rookies. It's tough for rookies. I struggled on this hole. First of all, I do want to say it is 10%, and when I was back in, I believe, once again, it was Tour 3, when I was playing this particular course, I didn't even know there was a such thing as elevation. So I would set up my shot right where that black box is, and I would wonder why I was going into the rough. And so on and so forth. The way that I have it set up to play, though, in the tournament, excuse me, is one of two ways. First way is with an extra mile and a quasar, and that is going with the white line, or, well, kind of the white line. Really, I guess it would be an extended black line. I'm not talking about a power curl or anything, but I'm talking about landing your ball beyond that first sand trap and going with about 3 or 4 top spin and full right spin to try to get past the trees, the first set of trees, but also kind of get that other tree closer to the hole out of your way for a clear visibility shot. If that is something that can be done with a tailwind and the level of your club, I highly recommend that. And then your second shot would be most likely a Viper shot, and also an additional 10% on that. Most likely full left spin and probably some curl anyway to get around the trees. It all depends, though, on where you land with your drive, so I don't want to get into actual numbers. Another way that you could play this, though, is straight up the black line, where you're actually going to bounce before the rough in the sand with full top spin, and just make sure you don't clip the rough where those trees are on the right-hand side. It's going to make the second shot a little bit more difficult because the tree will be there, but it's still makeable. Maybe bring I want to say, please correct me if I'm wrong here, Tommy. It's been a while since I played this from the first tee, but I want to say a Guardian, even like a level 1 Guardian would be nice, because with that tree there, you could put full left curl on, maybe kind of counteract that with some right spin and a bunch of back spin. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and you actually are going to want to go with top spin and land in front of the bunker before the tree, and just bounce over towards the flag. Those are the 3 ways I'm thinking about tackling it.
Yeah, and I would say this hole is harder in Rookie than it will be for Pro, Expert, and Master. The reason is the backspin, due to the higher leveled up clubs that we do have in Pro, Expert, and Master. Because we could, there isn't some rookies that doesn't have Guardian, But RJ, you are absolutely right. With a level 1 Guardian, would honestly be a better choice than many other wood clubs. And I would say, like, for Pro and Expert and Master, we're most likely going to have a sniper that's going to have a decent level already. So we're going to have enough amount of backspin to be able to approach the pin. We, as a normal way, we play according to the black line, bounce before. If we do have tailwind, we go with the white line, go with curl to the right and curl around the tree, and try to achieve the possibility to use a short iron or a long iron instead to increase the opportunity to get an albatross. But there is a way to not, like if you reach to the first bunker there on the left, or you go into the rough there, you will not be able to reef for the green in 2. That's the same if you go on the right, where all those trees are, or in the bunker there, you will most likely not be able to reef for the green in 2. So stay away from those obstacles, play a more conservative drive, and I would say that we won't be okay, sure, with a bunch of tailwind we're going to see some albatrosses, but with a crosswind-ish or headwind-ish, then we would be seeing very few albatrosses on this hole. 10% downhill first shot, 10% downhill second shot as well. So we're gonna see. Okay, do we have any questions? Boss goals, work, extra 7, Kata 4, Sniper 9, Saturn Spit 5, and Rapier level 6, Nirvana level 5. Good enough for Expert? I would see so. I think the people will lower level clubs this time around will be able to play in maybe a higher division. Yeah. So definitely. So it's going. To summarize this, it's going to be a tournament with most likely low scores. I would be super surprised if we're not seeing like a general minus 25, 26 to even make the weekend round. And even though it sounds hard in that way, but it's going to invite us to get a lot of opportunities. I do hope from playing an Expert and a Master that we're going to see some headwind. I really, really hope so. Otherwise, it's going to be who can drive the green the best, basically. And that is going to go down to who has the club and who has the ball, basically. But overall, pretty easy tournament. It's going to be hilarious, though, to see. We're going to see many players that has never been shooting a -30 going to be able to shoot a -30, and that's a milestone in itself. And me, myself, are going to join in RJTV on Thursday to see if I can help him bring a good tiebreaker in the opening round in some form. But yeah, what can I say? I'm going to stream tomorrow in 10 hours exactly when the tournament starts. I'm going to play all the divisions, Rookie, Pro, Expert, Master. Then I'm going to do the Rookie playthrough, Pro playthrough, and start doing the updated text guides. Tuesday, I'm going to do the Expert and Master playthrough, and all of those is going to be with the tournament win. The updated text guides will be out on Tuesday, don't know exactly what time, but it's going to be out on Tuesday. So if you do want to get the updated text guides, which will involve detailed explanations on how to take the shot from what type of spin, curl, adjustment, etc. RJ, how are you going to stream this week? Is it late? Not late and late, but is it a little bit later as on Mondays as usual?
Yes, I have the doctor's appointment on Mondays, so Monday night I don't get out of the office till 8 p.m. I know I've been telling people I hop on around 8, but I haven't been coming on till around 9. But then the rest of the days of the tournament, I try to hop on right around 7 p.m., all Eastern Standard Time, United States. Whatever time it is in New York City, it's the same time for me here.
Super! JS Hansen43, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Dave, no, I don't play all day. I don't. Also, I would say I hope you like this type of format. You know, we were thinking about making a video in the last minute. We kind of changed our mind, like, let's do a live stream. And depending on how we feel, we might going to do this a more regular thing. So I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, text guide wise, you can find in the video description the link to it, and also if you're still here in chat, !tournament. So I'm going to leave it off to RJ on how to end it up here on the stream.
All right, guys, we need more cat emojis. Wait a minute. No, happy stroking.
Happy stroking, everyone. Bye.